Edward Pynell wore a scary rubber mask during his home invasions on Jersey Island between 1960 and 1971. He became known as the Jersey Beast for sneaking into homes at night and committing violent acts. American soldier Larry Matinsk was handing out cigarettes to newly freed prisoners at the Allach camp in Germany on April 30th, 1945. The site operated as a forced labor camp under the German regime during World War II. Martin Luther King Jr. was removing a burning cross from his yard in Montgomery, United States in 1960. Next to him, his young son silently watched the scene in the family's backyard. Viet Minh soldiers were celebrating after capturing and destroying a French outpost in 1949 during the First Indochina War. In the background, burning wreckage showed the impact of the offensive against colonial forces. American Red Cross volunteers were collecting victims of the 1918 flu in St. Louis, United States. The city was one of those that adopted strict measures to contain the spread of the virus. Danish model Winnie Holman was photographed in Cannes, France in 1975. The shot was taken by Helmut Newton, known for his bold and sophisticated style. A Bible carried by soldier Hackett during World War I in 1915 was struck by a bullet and halted its path between its pages. The projectile pierced the cover and several pages, but stopped before reaching the soldier's body. A United States aviator was captured after crashing into Truce Bach Lake in Hanoi, Vietnam in 1967. The pilot was John McCain, who was rescued by local residents and taken prisoner. Marshal Josip Broz Tito was watching his troops entering Belgrade, Yugoslavia, in 1945. The city had been liberated after fierce fighting against occupying forces during World War II. Stacks of about 40,000 buffalo hides were stored in Dodge City, Kansas, United States, in 1878. The mass hunting was driven by demand for leather and by railroad expansion. A Tasmanian tiger was photographed in Hobart, Tasmania, in 1933. This species, also called the thylacine, was the largest carnivorous marsupial of the modern era. The last known individual died in captivity in 1936, marking its official extinction. An American model, Betty Page, posed in a studio in New York City in 1954. She stood out for her dark hair and for poses that influenced retro aesthetics. The underground government leadership bunker was built in Berlin, Germany, in 1944. Located near the Chancellery, it featured reinforced concrete walls and command rooms. Workers were nearly 200 feet high assembling the airship Hindenburg in Friedrichshafen, Germany, in 1936. The vehicle measured 804 feet long and could carry passengers and cargo. British soldiers were patrolling the North African desert in 1943. The mission was part of the Allied operations during World War II in the region. British soldiers were training to handle mines and hidden devices without using sight during exercises in the United Kingdom in the 1940s. The activity was part of preparation for nighttime missions in conflict zones. Skeletons were arranged decoratively in the Capuchin crypt in Rome, Italy, around 1900. The space housed the remains of thousands of friars, displayed in artistic patterns on the walls and ceilings. Hungarian border guards were taking down the fence on the border with Austria in 1989. This action allowed many East German citizens to cross into the west side. An inflatable Sherman tank model was used by the Allies in 1944 during Operation Fortitude. This action was part of a deception strategy to mislead German forces about the actual invasion site. Annie Edson Taylor was helped out of the river after becoming the first person to survive going over Niagara Falls in 1901. She made the trip inside a padded barrel at age 63. In November 1966, stagnant air trapped a dense layer of smog over New York City, United States, for 3 days. The toxic haze covered the buildings and caused widespread respiratory problems. Workers and vessels were passing through the locks of the Panama Canal in 1922. The interoceanic route connected the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, reducing global navigation time. The funeral of Tomáš Masaryk, founder and first president of Czechoslovakia, took place in Prague in September 1937. Thousands of people gathered in the streets to pay tribute to the leader who helped establish the country in 1918. Healthcare professionals were operating a pediatric iron lung in a hospital in the United States during the 1940s. This equipment was used to assist breathing in children affected by polio. Joseph Stalin was holding a fake gun during a relaxed moment in Moscow, Soviet Union, in 1934. The image was taken at a private event with high-ranking political figures. A French soldier was posing next to an army dog wearing a protective mask in 1918. During World War I, trained animals aided in search missions, patrols, and message delivery. 2 men were competing in a motorized chariot race in the United States in 1925. Each driver rode a motorcycle connected to a pulled cart, inspired by ancient Roman races. Pinball machines were destroyed during Prohibition in the United States between the 1940s and 1970s. Cities like New York banned the game, considering it a form of illegal gambling. A police mugshot of Alphonse Bertillon was taken in France in 1912. He was the creator of the photographic identification system known as the mugshot, still used by authorities today. His method combined frontal and side photographs with anthropometric measurements. Samurai warriors posed in a studio in Japan between 1860 and 1880. They wore traditional kimonos and carried katana swords, symbols of their warrior class. A Red Cross train was departing from Budapest, Hungary, to Switzerland in 1947. The journey carried children and civilians affected by post-war shortages and instability. 14-year-old Kenneth Warwick and 17-year-old Frank Grell were recaptured in Carroll, Iowa, after escaping from Fort Dodge Prison in the United States on August 8, 1945. The saws used in their escape were hidden by their girlfriends inside a cake and a watermelon. Princess Elizabeth, at 16 years old, posed for an official portrait in the United Kingdom in 1942. During World War II, she took part in broadcasts supporting British youth. drivers were fueling their vehicles at a gas station in Los Angeles, California, United States, in the early 1950s. Uniformed attendants offered full service, including windshield cleaning and oil checks. A reindeer, looking confused, watched a fighter plane during a military operation in Russia in 1941. The scene took place amid intense fighting on the Eastern Front during World War II. Employees in costumes waited in line at the in-park cafeteria of Disneyland in Anaheim, United States, in 1961. Among the outfits were characters like astronauts, princesses, and cowboys used in park attractions. A Klamath tribal chief was standing on a hill overlooking Crater Lake in Oregon, United States, in 1923. The site is sacred to native peoples and lies within the caldera of an ancient volcano. Mahatma Gandhi was reading a document while sitting next to a spinning wheel in 1946 in India. The wheel symbolized self-sufficiency and peaceful resistance to British rule. Local residents crossed the Sutlej River in India using boats made from inflated ox hide in 1908. These lightweight and sturdy vessels had been used for centuries to navigate currents in the region. An Eskimo man was holding a row of fish in Nome, Alaska, between 1898 and 1900. He was wearing a parka made from seal intestine, a durable and waterproof material used to protect against extreme cold. Anwar Sadat, Jimmy Carter, and Menachem Begin met at Camp David, United States, in 1979. The meeting resulted in the Camp David Accords, which established a peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. An Italian family rode a lambretta through the streets of a city in Sicily, Italy, in 1963. This type of scooter was popular in the post-war period for being affordable and efficient. Harrison H. Schmitt examined a large lunar rock during the Apollo 17 mission on December 13, 1972. The lunar module and rover were positioned in the background on the moon's surface. Winston Churchill visited the White House in Washington, United States, in January 1942. During the meeting with President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he wore his traditional siren suit, a comfortable coverall designed for emergencies. Flight attendants from Pacific Southwest Airlines posed in colorful uniforms in California, United States, during the 1970s. The airline was known for its laid-back style and informal service during flights. President Theodore Roosevelt was giving a speech to the crew of the USS Connecticut in February 1909 in the United States. The event took place during the last week of his term, marking the return of the Great White Fleet after its world tour. The Athens Olympic Games took place in Greece in 1896. It was the first edition of the modern Olympics, bringing together athletes from 13 countries. Bathing suits, used in the United States and Europe during the 1890s, covered most of the body. Men and women wore thick fabric garments, usually wool, to maintain modesty at beaches and clubs. An experimental surface contact streetcar operated in the United States during the 1890s. This system eliminated exposed rails and used conductors hidden beneath the pavement to power the vehicle. Wilhelm Röntgen captured an image of his wife's hand in Würzburg, Germany, in 1895. It was the first X-ray ever produced using the X-rays he discovered. The arm and torch of the Statue of Liberty were exhibited at the Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia, United States, in 1876. This exhibition aimed to raise funds to build the pedestal in New York City. Annie Oakley shot over her shoulder using a revolver and a hand mirror in Buffalo, United States, in 1899. She demonstrated impressive accuracy in traveling shooting shows. A mother and her son posed in front of a wall in a rural area of Ireland in 1890. They made a living through farm work and shared a strong bond amid simple conditions. A building of the United States Capitol was still under construction in Washington, United States, in 1870. The work included building new wings for Congress, which began in 1851 and were completed that year. The first Miss Soviet Union pageant was held in Moscow, Soviet Union, in 1988. Representatives from 15 republics paraded in evening gowns and took part in interviews. Residents and merchants were walking through the narrow streets of Chinatown in San Francisco, United States, in 1898. The neighborhood grew after the 1849 gold rush and was affected by the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. A blizzard struck the northeastern United States in 1888. Gusts of up to 45 miles per hour and over 3 feet of snow blocked New York City and Boston. Travelers traversed a natural tunnel carved through coastal redwoods in California, United States, during the 1880s. This scenic path was created by loggers to attract visitors to the area. Miners were working at 850 feet below ground in the Hubert Mine in Nevadaville, Colorado, United States, in 1895. The main shaft extended over 3,280 feet and used rail carts to haul material out. The Benz Velo was produced by Benz & CA in Mannheim, Germany in 1895. This model was one of the first mass-produced automobiles and reached up to 12 miles per hour. The Statue of Liberty was being assembled in Paris, France in 1878. Copper and steel pieces were being joined to form the statue's body, which would arrive in New York City in 1886. The Kimberley Diamond Mine in South Africa in 1872. A stone weighing 83.5 carats was discovered, marking one of the largest finds of the era. Employees served customers at a McDonald's counter in the United States in 1976. The menu included cheeseburgers for 40 cents and soft drinks for up to 45 cents. School children placed their hands over their hearts while saluting the flag of the United States in 1892. This act accompanied the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance, introduced that same year. The Stockholm Telephone Tower handled about 5,500 telephone lines in Sweden in 1890. It served as the central connection point before underground cables were adopted. Shepherds walked on stilts across the Landes Plains in southwestern France around 1900. They used this method to watch over flocks in flooded areas and low vegetation. A woman got a permanent wave in a beauty salon in Long Beach, California, United States, in 1934. The process involved metal rollers connected to an electric device that heated the hair. Andre the Giant traveled by airplane in the United States during the 1980s. Due to his unusual size, he occupied several seats for comfortable accommodation. The interior of a New York City subway car in the United States in 1910 featured wooden benches and glass lamps hanging from the ceiling. The cars were ventilated by sliding windows and decorated with bronze details. Actor and bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger walked through Munich, Bavaria, Germany in 1967. At that time, he was promoting his local gym by handing out flyers and talking with residents. A National Guard tank was destroying equipment used in illegal liquor production in Newport, Kentucky, United States in 1922. The operation was part of the fight against illegal distillation during Prohibition. A boy was telling a local pastor about Yuri Gagarin's spaceflight in the Soviet Union in 1961. The Vostok 1 mission marked the first human spaceflight, orbiting Earth for about 90 minutes. The ship Santa Fe was arriving at the port of Buenos Aires, Argentina, around 1947. It was carrying European immigrants who left their countries after World War II. The first actor to portray Ronald McDonald was Willard Scott in the United States in 1963. He created the initial clown version to promote the McDonald's chain in local commercials. Bill Clinton and Boris Yeltsin were viewing the Hudson Valley landscape in New York, United States in 1995. The meeting was part of a diplomatic summit to discuss cooperation between the two countries. Children were running and playing in an alley between brick houses in Manchester, United Kingdom in 1971. Despite the rundown environment, such spaces were common for children's recreation in working-class areas. Men were resting on the porch of a grocery store by a dirt road in North Carolina, United States, in 1939. The place sold basic goods and served as a gathering spot for the rural community. Charlie Chaplin was meeting Helen Keller in the United States in 1919. The deaf-blind activist touched the actor's face to recognize him, a common sensory communication technique. A girl was walking with a small alligator on a leash on the streets of Los Angeles, United States during the 1960s. The unusual scene reflected an era with fewer regulations on exotic pets. Workers were installing the roadway base during the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, United States, around 1936. The main structure connected the towers with twisted steel suspension cables. Italian actress Sophia Loren posed for a film scene in Rome, Italy, during the 1950s. She stood out for her talent and striking presence in European and international cinema. Che Guevara appeared relaxed, drinking a beverage during a break in Havana, Cuba, in the 1960s. Known for his role in the Cuban Revolution, he also took part in political events and social gatherings. Actress Elizabeth Montgomery was exiting a trailer during a break in filming in 1961. She would become world famous for her role as Samantha in the TV series Bewitched. Teenagers were having fun with bows and arrows before dinner at a camp in the United States in 1956. The activity was part of the common outdoor recreational programs of that era. Microsoft employees posed for an official photo in 1978 in the United States. The team consisted of only 11 people, including founders Bill Gates and Paul Allen. A bicycle was left in a marshy area on Vashon Island, United States, during the 1950s. It belonged to an 8-year-old boy who forgot it there and never returned to claim it. Actor and comedian Buster Keaton was having fun on an experimental vehicle in the United States during the 1920s. Bulgarian farmers were using an elephant for field work in 1900. The animal replaced oxen or horses in tasks such as plowing and hauling loads. Two men were crossing a busy street in Ontario, Canada, in 1957, using a small pig-drawn cart. The unusual scene caught the attention of a motorcycle police officer who was following them in traffic. School children put their hands over their hearts as they recited the Pledge of Allegiance in a classroom in the United States around 1960. This daily ritual was part of the school routine as an expression of respect and patriotism. Mamie Van Doren posed next to her Jaguar car in California, United States, during the 1950s. Known for her glamorous style, the actress mentioned that the vehicle had constant oil leaks. A couple was using a worm vending machine in the United States in 1957. The machine dispensed fishing bait 24 hours a day, making access easier outside regular store hours.